It's another week. It's another Dice Tower show. Welcome to Week in Review. This is where we go back and take a look at all the videos we did over the past week, tell you short thoughts on each of them, and then if you want to know more, we got our links in the description below, so let's get started.
Hey everybody, I'm Zee Garcia, and here's what I reviewed last week. So I reviewed the Coffee Roaster app on iOS, which I rate a 5 out of 10. The game works for the most part well, and it is a fun game. Coffee Roaster is a neat solitaire player game. But there are a few issues. The game only has portrait mode. It has a very dated look. The UI is kind of a little clunky and a little dated. It hasn't had an update for like a year or so. There are a few tiny bugs. No crashes, but there are a few small bugs. It feels a little underwhelming, and it needs better instructions. If you're coming into this without knowing the game, you're going to have a bit of a rough time kind of figuring it out from their explanation. A little bit. I reviewed Kimono, which I rate a 6.5 out of 10. There's a couple of games out there called Kimono, by the way. This one is a reprint of a game from a few years before called Colors of Kasane. You're building a kimono, and that you do that by collecting cards and then playing sets in front of you, trying to score different combinations of cards. It's neat. It's a beautiful edition, this Kimono edition from Superloot, a French publication. But the gameplay can be a little frustrating. It's kind of a filler, 25, 30 minutes. And if things go well, things go smoothly, you're going to have a beautiful time. If your hand management gets a little, caught in the cogs, so to speak, you're going to be frustrated. So be aware of that. This is a game for someone who loves ever-changing plans. If so, you're going to like it. If not, you're going to be frustrated. Lastly, I reviewed CODEX Nauturalis, which I rate an 8 out of 10. And this is also a set collection kind of card game. It's a beautiful one as well, but it's a lot smoother. You're collecting different symbols and then playing cards that require those symbols to get victory points. It is a card in which you're playing this sort of grid in which the cards cover each other, and you have to manage that layout, the geometry of that. If you like geometry, you're going to like this. If you want a neat filler with a very ethereal, welcoming theme, you're going to like this one. It's a lovely game. And that's it for me. I'm going to see you on the next one.
Hey, this is Roy Cannaday, and this week I took a look at the shores of Tripoli for a Four Squares review. We did it with Liz as a special guest, so that was super awesome. It's a light war game where you're playing different cards out, very historical of the time. I gave it a 6. I thought it was enjoyable, but not a game that I'm going to go back to time and time again. The balance seems kind of interesting to me. Make sure to check out that review. I also took a look at Quicksilver, the new hero pack for Marvel Champions. Definitely a super fun hero to play as you're bouncing around. I gave this one an 8. Definitely a lot of fun to play. Check that out. And then also, I always do Favorite Game Friday. Make sure to check those out. We have people from all over the internet sharing their thoughts on the topic of the week. We always love having Favorite Game Friday, so that's what I did this week.
Yo, my peoples, what's up? Jason coming at you once again from my favorite duck pond in West Hartford, Connecticut. Nope, I have not left. My favorite place to come and chill. I reviewed one game in the Dice Tower this week, which was Freedom, the Underground Railroad, released in 2013. It was a 1-to-4-player cooperative game depicting the Underground Railroad during the Civil War era in American history from the perspective of slaves escaping. You are playing abolitionists. You are trying to help them escape, raise money, all that kind of thing. 9 out of 10, seal of excellence. It's a difficult game because I think there's going to be a lot of people that they just don't want to grapple with it. However, I think it's a very important game. I think it's a fun game. I think it's an aspirational game. And so anybody that wants to give a look to the review and the game, that would be really, really great. I'd appreciate it. So thank you very much. This is Jason reminding you, enjoy your games, enjoy the day, and happy Black History Month.
Hello everybody, this is Graeme Anderson. This week I looked at 2 games. The first was BarBEARian, where the theme is being involved with a bar brawl after a long day of adventuring. The gameplay is very simplistic. You move around the board and play cards to attack other players. The first time through the game, the cards are funny and you'll enjoy it, but it won't last for repeated playings. I gave this one a 6 out of 10. The other game I looked at was The Lost Ruins of Arnak, a gorgeous Indiana Jones or Alan Quatermain themed game. It uses worker placement with some light deck building and gives you several divergent paths to victory. I enjoyed most parts of this game, but I am looking for some ways to change up the first round or so. Still though, a fun game that if you have not tried, I would highly recommend trying it, and gave this one an 8 out of 10 with the Dice Tower seal of approval. And that's it for this week.
Hi, I'm Judy from the Nerd Shelves. This week, Michael and I review Miyabi. It's a tile-laying game where you design Japanese garden. It's Tetris style, you build your features, and whoever gets the most points is the winner. We give it a 7 out of 10.
Hey there everybody, it's Mike DiLisio, and this week I reviewed 3 games. First, I did a 4 Squares review with Tom, Roy, and Liz Davidson for The Shores of Tripoli, a historical-themed 1 or 2 player game that is card-driven. I enjoyed the game. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I ultimately didn't give it a recommendation because I felt like it was a bit too scripted, and I didn't know that the game would hold up to too many repeat plays, but I do like a lot of the things that the game does, so check it out if the theme is appealing to you. I also reviewed the solo mode for 2 games. The first one is the Red Cathedral, a kind of dice rondelle game where you're collecting resources to build St. Basil's Cathedral. I like the game. I recommended it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I did feel like the order that the AI cards came out may influence too much the actual flow of the game, so something to think about for that, but ultimately a really good game. And I also reviewed the solo mode for The Lost Ruins of Arnak, a very hot right now adventure-themed game where you kind of are going out and discovering new areas and doing research out in this kind of jungle environment. It's a beautiful looking game, worker placement, deck building game. I gave this a 7.5 out of 10, a recommendation for the solo game. I did feel like the stack of solo AI tiles could maybe make things a little bit too predictable, and I felt like the game could have been a little bit better with that. I'm hoping the solo scenarios help for that. Well, that's it for me this week. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, so for me, first we have Zombie Teens Evolution. This is the sequel to Zombie Kids Evolution. It is very, very similar. I changed. I don't like it as much. It's okay, but it just moves too slowly for me and our kids. On the Origins of Species, another okay game from Artana Games. There's some interesting ideas in here, but the game itself isn't very exciting as you get resources, spend them to get creatures, and there's a book, there's a map in it that you need that I found to be very critical, and you might not get it. Mini Golf Designer. Now, realize one of my kids gave this a 7, but I love the theme of it. I love the idea, and it's just missing a few parts to get it higher. It's a little too fiddly. It's a little too much going on in the game, but man, I love the theme. Modern Art card game. This one has dropped for me over the years. It's better than Modern Art, in my opinion. It's fast and fun, but it's kind of just, it's a way to amuse myself. Decipher. This is a really cool logic deduction game. Note my rating here is for 2 players. I think that's the only way I want to play the game is with 2 players, as you use pieces of letters to figure out what a word is. Shores of Tripoli, we did a 4 Square review on this one. I liked it. I think I might have liked it the most, actually. It is a little bit on rails, and it definitely doesn't, I don't know if it has strong replayability, and there's some strong luck in it, but I still like it. It's still fun to play. Fillit. This is a little abstract strategy game where you're moving a piece around, dropping pieces after you. It's a really simple concept. Feels like it's been done before, but it's strong and it works for 3 or 4 players. Pebble Rock Delivery Service. This is for kids, this rating, but it is a strong kids game, a pick up and deliver game, kind of an open world where you can move around anywhere you want. I had a few small issues with components, but elsewise, I thought it was very fun. Magic Rabbit. This is a fun back and forth player game. I liked it best with 2, but with multiple people. As you're looking at tiles, switching tiles, swapping tiles, it's a 2-minute and 30-second game. A nice filler. Hallertau. An Uwe Rosenberg game. Very good game. I'm liking it more each time I play it. This may grow on me more as time goes by. It's another game about farming. Does some things I haven't seen before. Has some fun card play in it. I also did 8 negative reviews in 8 minutes, and I'm not going to go over these or all the ratings, just assume they're all 5 or lower. Prisma Arena, Carritos, Rapa Nui, WWE game, Cedars, Exodus, Magical Unicorn Quest, Torito. So you can see that video for short reviews of those. We did a top 10 of our 2021 predictions of games that are coming out. And I went back and looked at my 2020 predictions from last year to see what I thought about them and where they showed up. We did another Shoots and Marbles. Super fun. If you haven't seen that, go watch our marble races. Boring unboxing, crowd surfing, board game breakfast. Lots of videos for you to check out this week. And that's what we did last week. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching Week in Review on the Dice Tower.